Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Your life. Hey everybody, it's Benji here.
And Philip J. Fry.
Hi, it is our season 2 ending.
Finale.
No. You guys are ready to get rid of us.
Are you ready to rock
But we're
and
gonna-
roll?
Are you ready to lose control? Anyway,
yeah.
we are going to come back for season 3, though, because guess what?
Yeah.
We don't spend money. We don't make money. You can't cancel us.
Oh, ding, 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 ding,
Ding, ding, ding, bing, bong.
You thought the beans were done. The beans are just getting started.
Beans are just getting thrown in the oven. Set to 45-minute
You're
timer.
getting ready for hot beans fresh out of the oven.
Hot
season
beans.
3.
I like to go to bed with beans freshly cooked by my feet. Keeps them toes warm at night.
Tell me about that bean casserole.
A bean casserole with next to my feet. Oh, that little bit of cheese.
Yeah, before I guess we jump straight into it, like, we'll acknowledge the elephant in the room. This season 2 has been a little different, which, we've talked about a little bit in the last couple episodes, but it's been a year. Like, there's been a year, things,
and it's not our full-time job. This is a hobby.
Yeah.
This is fun for us, and we know we love our audience. We love the people that tune in, but we just, there's not a whole lot that's like we have to stick to certain schedules. We try to, by all means. Like, it's not, but life happens. Especially this year, which we'll go through this. This. I had a lot of good things happen this year, but it still is a lot of adjustment and a lot of,
Yeah.
So
I don't think anyone would say 2021 was not one heck of a year.
Yeah, I would definitely say that it wasn't as bad. It ended a lot better than it started off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Like, oh man, I remember just thinking it's so funny that like the beginning of 2021 immediately tops at the beginning of 2020, because we had the possible world war with Iran in 2020, but even that didn't seem quite as weird as insurrection at the Capitol 6th day of January.
Oh God, I know.
Well, I woke up from a nap to seeing that happen, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was at work, I think, when that was. So I was like, well, Jesus.
Yeah. I was like,
I don't know, man. Like, I don't even think. I think after this year, I will say I am
like holding those people accountable for the things that you wanted to see happen. Like, everyone thinks like the government's rigged. It's just all a scam. Nothing you do is ever gonna make a change. And it's like,
to be fair, I understand that feeling. I kind of agree with that feeling. But the problem is like to fix it is not to give up.
Yeah, everyone has something to bitch about, but nothing to actually contribute.
Yeah,
it's like if you don't have a solution, then
stop. It's like stop. Kind of like, and I don't want to be like vent.
Right,
venting's
your
healthy.
Feelings are valid.
Yes,
for sure.
But at the same time, like, hey, like, be constructive. Take that energy and turn it into something positive.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's a little bit of that people
you're speaking the truth, my brother.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, on that note, let's take our shots. We have some blue liqueur.
It's UV. I think it's just blue raspberry vodka. It's actually really nice.
This episode's brought to you by UV Vodka. Send us money, please.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Woo, that's good actually. Bit there, you get that vodka bite at the beginning. Vodka's so weird. It's like whiskey, it bites at the end, down your throat and in your tummy. Vodka gets you right at the beginning.
Yeah, vodka, if you're not ready to just take it down, if you hold it longer than a couple seconds, you're like,
take down Russia.
It'll take you downtown, down to the Motown.
Downtown. I go down. And there it is, folks. You heard it here first. We like dads. right.
Cut back into me.
Woo! Okay, so 2021, it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I see a lot of people online and stuff, and they're all like, I can't believe next year's already happened. I'm not even fully processed this. And it's like, man, like, again, for me personally, I've had such a great year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it started, but I also could have been that I started so low and worked my way up really hard. I worked really hard.
You did, man.
To get through this year, and I feel so relieved that, and like, I kind of got it figured out, and around October, I think, and then like November and December have just been like kind of a victory lap, but also still adjusting to this kind of newer version of me.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just like gonna change, like go through all this stuff and then change and all this, and be like the old you's not still there, but like,
it's what was it? Transcend and include.
Yeah.
So you're moving on, but you still got everything that made you who you were before.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's something you can draw upon. You're like, that was me, and this is me, and we're a whole thing. We're the package deal.
It's like I have the I guess thing going into my first highlight is making it through therapy. Like, I graduated I started therapy this year, and I made it through it.
Yeah.
With all the traveling and a lot of mental breakdowns and some poor choices and stuff, and a lot of, I went through the ups and downs, the drinking and smoking and stuff, and
who didn't this year?
Right? Yeah. I wouldn't have made it without you guys. The podcast has been wonderful for that. Just kind of giving me something to do to get out of the house. If it wasn't just discussing that stuff, it was giving me something to like do besides work and stuff. And
I'm glad you feel that way, because I feel the same way. This has been a joy.
Yeah, this has been a joy. I feel like we've been getting better. But anyway, I get through therapy and just growing, and now I feel so, I don't know, I have such a weird look on things now. For me, is like I can like, and I always kind of been like this, but now I'm doing it in like back in the day when something bad would happen, I would have very negative thoughts and then break down, and then watch myself break down from like the inside, like consciously I'm just watching myself go through these things, and I'm like, come on, we gotta get back up. And it's like, but I'm like, the other part of me, it's like my brain was watching my heart or something was watching one or the other, and the other one was just winning.
You was watching you.
Yeah. And now I'm still watching me, but I'm actually able to go, no, like, I'm actually able to keep myself up. It's like hold myself up and stuff. And so I have the ability to do that now that I did not have.
That's awesome.
And it's been, number one, great for like when I'm doing something that maybe it's like, hey, no, don't do that. Like, it's cool. Don't do that. Like, it's cool. Hey, you almost, like, you almost did something, but you didn't do it. So like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, don't do it.
Yeah.
And so
we all got our bad habits and things, and it's like, once you can like get a few times of like actually like talking yourself out of like, because a lot of it's just like catching like those thought patterns. It's not even necessarily like that you want to do it. You're just like in a thought pattern, and then you like say, wait, stop. What are you doing?
Yeah, a lot of it has been my online like interactions with like people and something, or like somebody would comment something that was very negative or something, or like even like at work it'd be something that was very negative, and you'd stew on it, but then I'm like, hey, you stewed on it, you're fine.
Yeah,
like, like what comes from this? What's the emotions from this? And then it's like, okay, cool, that's great. What can you do to build on it? What did you need? Could you do to make yourself better? What can you do to get yourself out of that situation next time?
Yeah.
All these different things of like just addressing the problem before it gets bad, and then working through it in my head and just staying positive, like not naive positive, but like very just staying real, like in the moment, like of like it's going to be fine.
Right, yeah.
It's you just work through it. Take that energy and turn it into something good.
Yeah. Like I wish I had a better way of like saying it, but like it is like talking positive to yourself. And like I said, not like a blindly like, oh, everything's gonna be okay forever.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta do. It's more so. It's like
It's saying
the reassuring nature of like, it's easier to actually congratulate yourself on things that you do well. Yeah. And
it's almost kind of
just
like
having like grace with yourself. You're like, okay, like
it takes, I think, because a lot of my stuff in therapy came back to like confidence. And I think it's taken that confidence. Like, I had to build I completely rebuilt my confidence through therapy. And
awesome.
I think that's what's coming down is like, I am now able to self-rely on myself because I am confident in myself.
Yeah.
I'm confident that I can make it through stuff. And yeah, it's like, and sometimes it's like, it's positives in different ways. It's like telling you like, oh, you know what? Like, that really sucks. Like, you are allowed to be sad. Be sad.
Yeah,
you're allowed to be mad. Be mad. Vent. Tell somebody how angry you are. Like, and then move on.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, that was kind
when
of
you can acknowledge the feeling and say, like, I'm feeling this in my body, like, for a reason.
Yeah.
So let's figure it out. And then usually, like, most of the time just naming what it is like 90% of the work right there.
Yeah.
Because then you're just like, okay, that's why I was upset.
And it's like, you don't even really need to address people unless like they cross that boundary, right, with you. But I haven't had to do that. I think most of my stuff has just been like, hey, that happened. Like, somebody hurt you or somebody did this. Somebody made you mad. Somebody, you know, that's like, this is what they did. It sucks that they did that. All right, it makes you mad. And, you know, it's like, hey, you're sad and it's cool, or you're mad. And, you know, it's like, but keep going.
Yeah, yeah. And it, like,
keep working.
At a certain point, when you can realize that it's like harboring those negative feelings, whatever they are, towards someone for whatever reason, the longer you hold on to it, like, you're only continuing to hurt and damage yourself more. And it's not saying like because that's different than just when like you're processing something and you're realizing like, oh, I am like angry and upset.
Yeah.
But it's like once you've kind of acknowledged it, but then you just keep holding on to it. It's like like you're holding on to like a rod that's hot and iron, and you're just burning your hand. I ran out of good like analogies. I'm just like, good. Shit, my head hurts.
Okay, so that was my first highlight. What about you? Like, what's some fun things? I know we've both been through some mental stuff.
Yeah. Highlights this year. Number one, Jenna and I got married, which we've talked about a bunch, but you're gonna hear about it more because it's great and we're excited.
It's great,
about
and
it.
look how dapper he is. I really need to point out that the weight loss here on this guy. It's just. Am I doing too?
It's all the beer I've been drinking.
Is one of these beans Brad Pitt? I don't know.
And the other was George Clooney over here.
Looney like Clooney.
This beer is intense. It's like 12%.
It's black. It is like...
I'm baby sipping it over here. Cause
it looks like it hates you.
I like at Christmas time, I'm always like, oh man, you know, a stout sounds great or something like that. And then every time I get one, I'm like, eh.
And then it
just tastes like chocolate milk.
It tastes like somebody hated the whole entire time. Like they were making it and like, I don't like doing this. Yeah. Why am I doing it?
Yeah, someone just vomited out their hate into like a physical form, and they're like, here's a beer.
They painted it black.
Yeah. Like even the top of it's black.
Yeah, it's
I mean, it's
cool.
kind of badass. Yeah,
it looks cool, but it definitely looks like it's like, if you drink this, I will hate you.
It's a Russian imperial style.
Oh yeah, then it's definitely like,
oh, that's straight. That's like an upside down cross almost.
Yeah, almost. It's from Mother Russia.
It's Walnut River from El Dorado.
Oh,
so shout out to Jenna's hometown for brewing the most evil beer of all time.
Mother Russia, beer drinks you.
Yeah.
Beer don't feel good feelings.
So highlights: we got married, which has been great.
Woo.
I got promoted at work, which is awesome.
That's one of the biggest reasons too, besides like my traveling, that we haven't been on here, because you've been going through a lot with work. And it's like, hey, let's take a step back and let you go through that.
Right. And it's not even so much like that and the adjustment of it. It's just been like both store-wide, district-wide, and company-wide. There's just a lot of things going on right now. Yeah. So what normally would be like, congratulations, you're hired. You start on this day, and then you'll be at this store, and then you'll eventually be promoted to store manager sometime.
Yeah.
Now it's like a lot of things happening. You'll probably start training sometime.
Yeah.
And, like, that's just how it's been. So
Yeah.
like, my new store manager like has just been kind of week by week writing me a schedule, and I just kind of go in.
Yeah.
Because I'm just kind of like an extra person there right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a little weird because it's like I'm in limbo. Like I'm not really like running the shifts anymore. I'm just kind of there.
Yeah. Are you still like? Is like your store manager like teaching you stuff, or like they not allowed to officially do that? Or you just?
I mean, like yeah, like she's been showing me things and whatnot. I just haven't like sat down and officially started like the computer work.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And like the official. Like all that stuff.
Yeah, okay.
It's like I am bonus, but I am also kind of still just like on the floor, like doing the things. But I'm just not like the shift anymore. Like on Sundays and Mondays, I still open and I run the shift, but everything else, I'm more or less just kind of there, like in the middle of the day.
Yeah, you get to now delegate to shift lead, like right, like.
Yeah, so I mean, assistant
not
manager,
yet
right?
because you're still
yeah. But once I like. Ideally, assistant manager is just a temporary position until an opening for a store manager pops up. So yeah, like at that point, it's like you get a really good shift team together of people like you trust, and you know they can do all the things they need to do, and then they delegate out to the baristas. So it's kind of like everyone works together type of thing.
It's a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme.
You heard it here, heard it here first, folks. Starbucks pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Starbucks. Pay us money.
No, I don't. We could get in trouble.
Oh, don't do that.
Probably not. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Actually, Starbucks is paying me
money. They pay your paycheck. They don't actually give the podcast money.
No.
Same with UV.
Indirectly.
Yeah. They did pay for one of the cameras, one of the mics, and one of the lights.
Yeah. J.C. Penney's and Starbucks paid for that camera in the middle.
J.C. Penney's
bringing it home. Give us money.
We'll talk about you, and we'll get you 15 new customers. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
If they're not already.
Yeah. Either way, like I officially start training this Monday.
Okay, cool.
This upcoming Sunday is my last day at Kellogg and Greenwich.
Sad.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
I was already like today. I just worked 11 to 3 or something, and I got off and just kind of walked to the back, and I was like,
yeah.
just smelling it one last time, because Sunday's my last day, and Sundays are always crazy. So like by the time the shift's over, I'm gonna be like, I'm ready to get home. It's always just busy.
Yeah.
So
I can't tell you how much now I cry. Not even, especially movies now. I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah. No, I've been crying a lot lately too. Just like, number one, for a long time, I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Yeah, like I never really could cry unless it was like really sad.
Yeah,
and, like I think
it's like I was sad a lot.
And I don't, but to be fair, I don't think I was ever really like super happy either.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like I'm more in touch with my emotions. And
me too.
Almost in a weird way, it's not so up and down now that I'm more in touch with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird like that. But.
It's been kind of nice, because so I had the 2 family deaths this year, and like that was the first time I've ever lost like a family member, like of any kind. Yeah. I mean, I lost a grandpa when I was really, really young. So my whole life I've always been kind of worried about when the first one was going to go, like just how it was going to be. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I don't recommend it.
I mean, I lost my grandpa. I lost 2 grandpas. One of them, not a good guy. But the other one was really, I mean, he also had his things. But he was always around. I was raised with him and stuff.
Yeah,
he lived with us for a little bit. And so we had like a lot of memories. And that sucked. Like, but.
Yeah, it's no fun. But it's been nice getting through that and seeing like, hey, like you're okay. Like, look at you.
Yeah.
You made it through something that you never knew like how it was going to happen. That was kind of one of those like things looming off in the distance I knew was going to happen at some point. And it's really nice and refreshing knowing like, hey, I came through that, like, and you're processing it, and like you've been able to cry a few times about it. Yeah. So you're not like just holding stuff in, because sometimes I'd be like, well, maybe I'm just so numb, especially because I wasn't like super close with either. I
read a post the other day about like, be careful of gaslighting yourself.
Yeah.
And I totally did that, but I think it was from I love our group of friends, but we definitely had some friends in our group that were very gaslighty, and I very much learned from that. Like, and I had some other stuff from that I learned, and that was one of my things. Like, I read this post. And that was just
kind of a typical male mentality. Like, I think 10 years ago.
Definitely
I think this is like
yourself.
The first time, like in recent memory, at least for me, where like, okay, like a lot of my male friends now, I can see like have kind of learned from that, and like it's just stuff that we just didn't talk about 10 years ago. Not necessarily because we didn't want to, but we just, I don't know, in a way, like until someone says it's okay for you to talk about things, you kind of go through life being like, is it okay? Like, like to talk about like, things, you know,
you have this weird thing of like when you're emotional, you're like, well, I can't be like, you don't show emotion.
Yeah.
And I don't know what in me, I'm not an overly masculine person by any means. I never have been, and I've been okay with that. But I have been very cold in my life. And be very, I wouldn't say her. I think I've always been known to like just be like to tell the truth a lot, and just kind of been like, I wouldn't say I'm like outward with it or forward with it, but if you asked me what I thought, I would tell you exactly. And so,
I think like your intention was always like, well, the truth is better to know than
I've been
like to lie to your face about something.
Yeah, something now is like I've been kind of I haven't necessarily, I still tell the truth, but I've been like, like, could be nice about it. You can understand, and like, but also still having to like, not gaslight yourself and stuff. That went off on a tangent.
That's okay. That's what this episode is going to be.
That's true.
Yeah.
So with therapy, kind of getting out of it. I talked about it on one of the other episodes, but he's ready for Christmas.
Both of them have been, especially Missy has already torn into like a couple of the gifts. So when we take them to like our parents, be like, sorry, Missy opened half of it for you.
Yeah. I met my girlfriend Robin. And
shout out to
Robin Butler. She's wonderful. She's beautiful. She's super sexy. She's funny. Anyway, I've really had a great time with her. This has probably been one of the first relationships where I feel like I've really tried to be a good communicator in it. I still have a lot to learn. I still have tons of things that I gotta do. I was an only child for so long, and as an only child, you kind of get used to this. Like, well, I'm just gonna do it. I don't understand why it's a big deal. I've been able to figure that out. Samson's the same way. He's just gotta learn.
Ruckus tonight.
He's just like he's an only child, just having to learn to not be an only child.
Samson. Hey, buddy, no. Honey.
I'll cut that out. I believe it. Who knows? It'll be see our Patreon for Samson being a doofus.
It's one of those things where sometimes I'm like, they just need to figure it out. But like, he is a little jerk, and it's so because he's not a real cat. Like, he has no cat instincts. He's just emotion. She's smart and knows like how to kind of navigate, like, because I think she's wants
a cat
to figure it out, but he's just like, stupid. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Anyway, Robin.
But yeah, the relationship has been absolutely wonderful. It's been so far been one of the best experiences I've had in a relationship, of just talking about myself, going through it, and like learning, like, again, I was an only child for so long.
Yeah.
And, you know, and realizing you can't just go do, you know, like you can do things, but you can't just like be an only child.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then especially like when you're in a relationship, and especially one where I mean you're living together, you're spending a lot of time together. Yeah, like it's one of the things like I even had to adjust, you know, when we moved in together, because I lived on my own for so long.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like you have a particular way of doing things, regardless of whether you actually like the way you do them or not. It's just kind of what you've done. So
Oh, yeah.
then when you have like another person in the equation, like you think about everything a little differently. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I set that down there. Like, is that
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Like,
I'll do
like,
things.
just things like that.
I'll do things. I won't even think about it, and it'll be like, "Why'd you do that?" And it's like, I have really no idea why I
right,
did things. But you,
I'm just kind of here sometimes.
yeah, it's like I'm lucky I'm breathing at this point. Anyway, yeah.
You do
So
not needing that shot class.
that's been going really good.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. And then on the last little thing, and we'll get into the rest of your stuff, is I've been traveling and working this year, and I got a raise for work. I got more responsibilities for work, and that's been an adjustment period. And been traveling for work. I spent 3 months out of this year
Yeah.
out of town for work.
Hey, you were gone a lot.
Yeah.
That was hard for me, and I wasn't even the one.
That was stressful, but you know what? It was good money, and it was good experience for me. And I'm looking forward to doing that some more. But then just traveling for fun was very like seeing the world and realize and like made me love it and also love our hometown, Wichita.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of people are like, I need to leave, and then they leave, and you know, it's like I've done like everywhere I go do the same thing that I would do here.
Yeah.
Right? Hey,
we might want to swap them back out.
buddy.
He's being kind of a distraction. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Dingus.
This is what he does in the mornings when I get up, and I'm trying to have my coffee and just be chill.
Yeah. Bing bong.
Oh, honey.
Baby boy.
Baby boy, come here, son.
Cut.
This young man will not get along with his sister.
So they have to go out at separate times.
He has to go into timeout.
He did not understand the assignment.
He'll be back.
This episode brought to you by Samson being a doofus. Brought to you by a sweet, sweet boy. Who's also a doofus. Those two, that's both on our list, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so that's been a lot of fun and made me appreciate where I'm at. Both the work, traveling, you know, and seeing other people working in the same industry that I work in, and also just traveling and being a tourist. Like, everything out there is all here.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I get it. The apprehension of, like, staying in Wichita, or as that apprehension, that's probably the wrong word. Not liking Wichita, but I gotta get out of here. I get that. But at the same time, like, it's not that expensive.
Yeah,
And the traffic's really not that bad.
Yeah, like there's the allure, and I think what the most part of it is the allure of going somewhere that you're not at. You know,
Yeah, I think
like,
so.
Unless there's a specific reason, either for work or something you just want to go do or see, it's like, especially it's like a town like Wichita is like a decent size. There's a little bit of everything to do.
Uh-huh.
And like for right now, the cost of living is like pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it'd be cool to go live somewhere else, but it's like that's down the line, years from now. Like, we've saved money, and you know, like we're getting ready to retire or something. And we'll go maybe live somewhere nice, but we'll probably still be Kansas. You know, like it's just kind of where we're at.
I've really fallen in love with this place again, because it's kind of been just going to see San Diego. And it's weird to say, like, I went to San Diego and it made me, like, love home more. But, you know, going to see Portland, Maine, going to Denver, going to Savannah, Georgia, going to Mexico. I just really missed this place.
Yeah. Well, and when you go and you do those things, even though you might be doing something that, like, you physically can't do here. Like, if you go to San Diego and you sit on the beach and look at the ocean, it's like, wow, that's incredible. You're sitting outside in nature. But then it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you can't go see the ocean in Kansas, but, like, it doesn't mean that the nature and majesty of, like, this place that exists, like, we're on a planet. Like, it's, like, cool shit. Like, just go outside and look at a tree. Like, trees are cool. Like, appreciate that. And it's like, or if you're going and doing shopping, you know, like, for, like, something there, it's like, there's probably something similar here too. Like, go go do that, you know, from time to time. Just absorb it, you know.
Exactly. Appreciate where you're at. It's about staying positive.
Yeah.
And appreciating what you're doing, and again, not being naively positive, because you don't want to hold yourself back by being like, oh no, that's no problem. Like, again, gaslighting yourself. But, you know, staying positive and just staying like, you know what, there is something nice here.
Yeah.
I think I've learned that about Wichita too this year.
For sure.
About where I live and all that stuff. And I've kind of, I think I would move at some point, but right now I have no desire.
Yeah.
I like where I'm at.
If anything, so that we can keep doing the podcast from, like, not far away from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you want to jump into music?
Yeah, let's do music. All right, so... oops. I was going to put Lil Dicky and I accidentally put Lil Tiger.
Lil Tiger.
Because I put in Good Tiger.
Good Tiger.
All
Dicky
right.
Tiger.
Any new albums this year that stood out? I only really have one.
Okay.
That came out this year that I absolutely loved. Again, it takes me a little bit to get into music anyway, so albums are usually like a year or two behind anyway. Right, I'm like, well, I'll get there. But the newest album, and it's something that, like, you and I listened to when it came out. We both loved it. Our friend Matt loved it. And it's not a band that, like, I'm overly, not, like, don't dislike, but they're not somebody that was ever been in my wheelhouse.
Really? See, I feel like we used to bond over between the... And maybe it was just, like, kind of a casual...
I think for me,
like,
it was very casual. All of us
kind of loosely bonded over the same bands.
Yeah, I think for me, it was very casual. It was not my preferred listen. It was very niche-related, very mood-related for me.
Yeah.
But I love Colors 2.
Yeah.
That came out this year, and Colors 2 is just... It's a little bit of the old, it's a little bit of the new, and it's super creative like they always are, but it all makes sense. It's not just going off on these weird tangents in their songs and then doing it, you know, and then like they give you, it's like, did you know if you scratch a dog and their leg goes, that means that you're giving them the urge to itch? You're not, that actually doesn't feel good. They just want to itch.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost kind of like that, but like with the feel good. Like, they're like, look, you like that? Oh, yeah, I like that. Oh, I got it. Like, I didn't know I had that itch. Now I have that itch, and it actually feels really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, like, for me, I remember when the album came out, and, yeah, it took one or two listens, but it caught on pretty early for me. But I felt like it... Like, yeah, there's obviously some parts of it that really call back to the original Colors, but it feels like a whole new album in a way. And
I think you really have to listen to those to hear those callbacks.
And for me, I mean,
like, they weren't easy for me.
Some of it's because it's new and I haven't worn it out the same way I've worn out other stuff. But I always felt like a lot of their stuff, if I had to, like, do an album from start to beginning, I would enjoy it. But there was always, like, 10 to 15% of me that just was like, would just kind of get bored a little bit. Because they write really long, dense songs. But
there's a lot going on. They have a lot going on in their songs.
This album, I feel like there's not one song that I don't, like, there's like a section that I'm not like, oh yeah, I can't wait for that part of this song. Like that is awesome. And every song has a part like that, which is cool. And it's not even so much that it's like it's a riff or a thing. It's all sorts of different things. And like, whereas beforehand there's like 2 or 3 moments on like every album that I'm like, yeah, that is it. Like that is the best part of the album, or like and so it's always worth it to get there. But there's a lot of just like,
okay, just waiting. Like,
yeah, you feel like you're studying the music because you're just kind of sitting there absorbing.
It's like a non-interesting movie that has really good in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
Like, yeah, you don't necessarily identify with the whole movie, but there's like 3 or 4 scenes that you're like, oh, that acting and that cinematography and that direction, like chef's kiss.
Yeah, you're like, man, I opened up well for this.
I did. And I mean, a special side note of that album is it has been like my like what I've listened to the most soundtrack wise for when I go running. I almost always would listen to Revolution in Limbo into the
there's like the 3 or 4 songs.
The one with the drums and the organ at the beginning.
Oh yeah,
I forgot. Yeah, but I would always listen to those 2 because those 2 in together are just like, oh yeah, and I could knock out my mile on those. And then I would listen to Bad Habits because it's got a lot of those callbacks to Colors One, and that leading into The Futures Behind Us. Like those are my 2 favorite sections on the album.
Oh yeah, the Bad Habits and The Futures Behind Us. I love after that. Everything after that is just this big peak moment. And, like, I don't have lows in there in this album. I have this, like, okay, yeah, here you are. And then you get into Bad Habits. And you're like, okay, I'm coming up. And then you get into, like, in the transition to Futures Behind Us. And it's like, it's just up.
Yeah.
From there, you're like, it's like if you just had an orgasm for the rest.
Yeah. And it's like, I forget the name of the song, but it's the one that's between The Futures Behind Us and some Fumiko, like the Viridian of this album. There's one that's like you can tell was like Tommy's song. And I used to be like, I don't drive with it as much.
No,
but
I love that.
You need
one.
that come down from the insanity of The Futures Behind Us before you jump into the epic ending of the last.
But
two songs.
It's hardly a come down, right? Because I love it. I vibe on that so much. Again, I keep putting it up here. I can put it down here. My level can be down here. Yeah, like it's just such a awesome moment where it is relaxation, but I love it so much. It just fits. It's perfect. It's like the guy who added pepperoni to the pizza for the first time was like, well, I don't know if I can make this better, but I'll try. And then you're like, oh god, yeah.
You could put toppings, especially something like pepperoni on a pizza.
What? It's if the colors 2 is the pizza. The whole is and then you got the beginnings, the sauce. Future Behind Us and Bad Habits is the cheese, and the end is just pepperoni or whatever you like.
And it's just crispy to perfection.
Yeah, and it's cooked. Human as hell is the cooking.
Yeah,
and they baked it perfectly, and then they slapped that big on it right at the end, and you're like, I like it.
Yeah, it's such a triumphant album. Like you can't help but have like the biggest grin on your face when it comes to the end. You're like, they end with that, and it just sounds so good. Oh yeah, terrific.
For me though, other than that, I really kind of rediscovered some stuff. I guess an old album that came out in 2020 or 2021, I can't remember, but Good Tigers Raised in a Doomsday Cult.
Oh yeah, I think that was last year.
That was last year, but I really got into it this year, and it's a fantastic album. It's got some lows. It's not Colors 2, but it's the songs that are highs, which there's quite a few. They're good. They're real good. So I gotta give them.
I need to check that one out. They're a band that I really like that first album, and
they're so different from everything that I've ever listened to that I just love it.
Yeah, I need to go back in with like kind of a new perspective and fresh ears on it, because I think I got so used to what that first album was like, and just for whatever reason just didn't get into the other 2 that they've done. But the bits that I've listened to I liked. I just have to like give it time.
I've liked every album. This one definitely, Raised in Doomsday Cult, is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
But the one before it was super good, but it trails off. The beginning, it starts off so well, and then it kind of trails off for me. Not that it's bad at the end. It's just the songs I really like are at the beginning.
When you start hard, it's like you gotta have a really good ender.
Yeah, this last one though is very Aspirations-y, where it's like, but it's more mature to me.
Okay.
And so like Aspirations-y is like, okay, you have a good song and you have like a song, like, okay, I like it, but it's not my favorite. Then you have a good song, like, oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
This one's like that, but it's more mature. So it's less the songs you're like, I don't know, so, like I like it, but it wasn't. They're more up. They're like, okay, I like that one a little more. So
I'll put it on the list.
Nice. Anything for you? Like any new albums?
Yeah, I have a few. Honestly, I think I'm gonna say my number 2 is Rivers of Nihil's The Work. They're a band that so as much as I would like to be like the cool kid and be like, oh yeah, I heard their name around before, like their album before last. I really didn't, but like their album before last was really good. It was called Where Owls Know My Name. It was really good, like heavy progressive metal, like not like prog rock progressive metal, like Between the Buried and Me, like just full and like heavy. But like the album's really good, and so I wasn't sure what to expect with this, but like it's a journey, and the songs are just structured so well, and you have to kind of abandon the idea that it's like a heavy metal album. It still is, but there's like ebbs and flows to it. And
it's almost like the metal artists that we grew up with, like, or not grew up with, but the ones that were around when they were like 2011 and stuff. They almost feel like they've gotten so good at writing.
Yeah, like the songs are just so good, but
it's like Whitechapel too.
It's still
like
heavy
too, right?
music.
Yeah,
I love the new Whitechapel album too.
Yeah, it's just so much more mature. Even like, and again, Between the Buried and Me, it's like they were. I mean, they've been around longer than we've been listening to music, but
yeah, they've been around like 20 years. It's nuts.
But it's also like these bands that like 2011, you're like, yeah, you know, it's almost like they grew up with us.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing about Rivers of Nihil is like I went back and listened to some of their older stuff because they've had like 4 albums. And, like, their earliest one from, like, I think it's, like, 2012, 2013. Like, they're just straight, like, tech death. Like, not a band that I would have looked at and been like, they're going to be, like, the future of, like, this metal genre. Like, because they're pushing the boundaries so well. But the thing that gets me on this one is the production is, like, this is the cleanest sounding metal album. But not in, like, a stale way. Everything sounds, like, nice and organic. And it's wide.
Yeah,
like, whereas like a lot of like metal, it's like because there's so much going on and it's so intense, you can't get too wide with it. Otherwise, it
metal almost has like where
out.
it's like there's like this perfect balance, and metal almost seems like to always miss that mark where it's either not produced enough, and they're like, we want to be raw, and it's like, yeah, but you're paying money, and so like you should get. But then also on the other flips, I'm not saying if you want to be raw, you should go raw, but. The flip side, you get these overproduced albums. And I feel like both push each other.
And it's saturated with that these days because the recording technology is so easily available and like and it's just cleaned up the workflow for good music engineers and producers too. Like things are just so ready to like you can just produce a metal album with some presets like if you know kind of what you're doing and it'll sound great, but it'll sound like everything that's kind of going on.
But I think you get a lot of amateurs and stuff that are like, look at this album, you know, you get that overproduced or that raw sound. You don't get
but the songs aren't great.
They're not. It's almost like it's kind of like streaming nowadays too and all that because of COVID. Everything just kind of got saturated with a lot of, you know, people that, you know, they put in their heart and soul into these things. I want to, you know, you appreciate the stuff for what it is, but also like it's like that's overproduced, like or that's raw, like
you can tell that like that wasn't actually recorded how that sounds. You can tell a lot of that was like faked. Or not faked, you know, but like
they actually recorded it, but they you know, if that's what you want, go for it.
And that's a whole can of worms and stuff like that. But yeah, no, like it's really good. The performances are great, and then it's another one where it's like the lyrics are really cool too. I guess the singer is like losing his hearing or is like really hard of hearing. He wears like hearing aids and stuff, and so
I mean, hop in the fucking boat, right? Like, cause my hearing's after being in metal
but like a lot of
bands
lyrics are about dealing with that dichotomy of like the lifestyle he's leading is taking away from his body and what it can do.
Yeah.
And there's that like pull, like because at the end of one of the songs there's like crowd chants, and it's like a mix between like one more song, no more sound, one more song, but it's like kind of blurred. And there's a lot of like spots in the album where like the music just gets really loud and intense and then just like stops, and you just kind of hear like that, almost like that ping that you hear when your ear kind of does the thing. Just really cool stuff on there. There's that, and then if I had to pick like a third, for a top three, it'd be Manchester Orchestra's Million Masks of God.
Nice.
Really good album. Like they always write good stuff, but another one that like really struck a chord just lyrically and stuff, because it came out right around the same time that my grandma and my uncle died, and that whole album is about, well, not about, but like kind of inspired by their guitarist. His dad passed away when they were writing the album, so there's a lot of just lyrical things about like the life cycle and things coming and going and stuff like that. So just
it gives you something like what you're going through, that stuff. It's well timed, right?
Yeah,
like,
it gives you
you're connecting
words
to somebody
for kind of what you're feeling on the inside.
It gives you emotions.
Yeah, for sure.
I think two other things that happened for me for music this year is two artists that have been out for a while, but I finally got into them, and I got into them pretty good. Lil Dicky and Tyler Childers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love both of them a lot. Tyler Childers especially, because it wasn't like I was overly country growing up, but like the partying and stuff.
There's a little bit of that in there. That's kind of got some nostalgia
in the country.
For you.
Yeah, I grew up in the country, and I definitely had like the beers and stuff. Being in a small town, I mean, partying a lot in the small towns and stuff. Like I connected to it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's
good, like wholesome country to connect to. Like you still feel kind of cool listening to it.
Yeah.
And you can really indulge in that that country vibe.
So yeah, I'm not really like country, but at the same time, like I connect with that, and I think that's such a thing that I've really, and I think this has just come from that, is I've opened up to not genre specific, but just like what does it make me feel? How do I connect to it? And some stuff, and a lot of country stuff, I just don't connect to it. So I'm going to try and get away from using country and stuff, but it's easy to kind of describe it as that.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, like Tyler Childers, I just connect to it because of stuff that I've lived in my life. It matches that, and so it's just wonderful. It's just nice. It's good to have something like that and it really has kind of opened my eyes to stuff. And, again, getting out of like blocking it because it's a genre and looking at it more from like it's just music.
Yeah.
All of it's music. How do I connect to it? Or do I connect to it?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been getting like that. And then Lil Dicky is kind of not like that at all. It's just I just like it.
I mean,
doesn't have to.
You got stuff like that. It's like you don't have to have an explanation.
Exactly.
You just like it.
Yeah, you just kind of sometimes you just like things. You're like, I just like it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, we have movies next.
Movies, bing bong.
I can't tell you if I've watched a whole lot at the beginning of the year because
we watched those Christopher Nolan movies.
We did watch the Christopher Nolan movies.
That's all I remember watching.
I remember
at the beginning
in
of the year.
Savannah at one point not having any kind of TV or anything and just watching Tombstone over and over again.
Yeah.
Which I love Tombstone. I still love Tombstone after watching all that. So really, for movies wise, I don't remember a whole lot. Godzilla did come out this year. It's been kind of a long year because of...
Did it? Yeah.
It did, yeah. It came out when I was in Savannah. I didn't even have that on my fucking list. I loved Godzilla versus King Kong. It was great. It was fantastic.
I need to see that.
It was very, very much a over-the-top monster movie that you get, and with Godzilla...
The world needs that right now.
And honestly, like... People, I feel like, again, people need reasons to like stuff. Sometimes you just like stuff because you like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
with Godzilla, growing up with it, and those movies are all like that. It's just now we have CGI, so it's like,
Yeah.
like, what's the problem? So anyway, I love that movie.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot
like
of people,
it used to be like guys in suits, and it's
Yeah.
like, why are you complaining that it's CGI? It's just,
Yeah.
it's what we do these days.
it's so fun. They made Godzilla so like kind of carnal in a way in that movie, like
Yeah.
very lizard-like, and it was good. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I watched Dune.
I meant to watch that while
I-
it was on HBO Max,
Yeah.
and I just never got around to
I
it.
got really high and watched it, and I just remember like it going so slow, but then when like it would big things would happen, like whoa.
Isn't it like a 4-hour-long movie?
Yeah. I don't think I blinked during any of it, and there's times where it was
But
like
your eyes were dry.
yeah, it's like I was in the desert. It was good. I'd never watched the old David Lynch Dune.
Yeah,
I've listened to
neither.
a lot of people talking about that one, and a lot of people like this Dune more. A lot of people were, but they also missed some things from that David Lynch Dune. It was
Yeah,
good.
I knew that like the old Dune was one
Yeah.
of those. It's like mostly kind of a bad movie, but has like a cult following.
Yeah,
Because it's David Lynch and people just love what he does.
yeah. It's
Yeah, I don't have a horse in the race because I haven't
don't know-
read the book. I don't know. The
I don't know
movie.
anything
like, I didn't
about
know
Dune,
shit about it.
but
like,
that movie
I think
was.
Jenna like half read the book for a
Yeah.
class.
As for like an episodical movie, for like the big book to movie thing, it was good. It gave you, it gave me what I wanted,
Yeah.
and I didn't even know what I wanted going into it. So I liked it. I did like it. Acting was great. I love Oscar Isaac. I don't know very much about Timothy Chalamet other than he's big, but I've never seen anything that he's been in.
Yeah, I don't know half the
I don't-
actors these days. Like
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is like a new movie star.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
he
like
was,
the newest
he did Star
one that I
Wars.
know. And I just feel like I haven't really watched many movies like
I have
new
been-
since like 2016.
It's so weird, and this will kind of transition, but every time I get into Kevin Smith stuff, I get into movies again. And
Yeah.
he really helps me find a passion for movies. Not just specifically him, but I have that passion for movies. But he kind of unlocks it and lets me. He does that Fat Man Beyond with Mark Bernardin, and Mark Bernardin is somebody who Kevin Smith's just a fanboy about everything,
Mhm.
and everything's this huge, big, massive, wonderful thing for
Yeah.
him. It's kind of surprising when it isn't, and it's you listen when movies aren't that for him.
Yeah.
But like Mark Bernardin, who's a writer, he writes for, he does a lot of stuff. He always looks at stuff like through like another
Got a real critical lens.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's so smart and well thought out. But he also has those moments where he's like, I really like this, and he's like, but here's the critical lens part of it too.
Yeah.
And so I love both of them. I've been listening to that podcast again, and I've been finding my love for movies here at the end of the year. I don't think I had it at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the last new movie, a couple shows I'll talk about too. But last movie for me, I just watched it, the new Resident Evil movie, which did not.
I didn't even know there was a new one.
I don't think it did well at all. It's kind of a reboot, but it was it. They did. It was just a very good justice to the games.
Mm-hmm.
It was the original, the first and the second Resident Evil game. It was very more. It's not about zombies. It's about evil.
Yeah.
And it was very good for kind of a. I wouldn't say they are mega stars for anything. Those movies, those game to movie movies never do good anyway. But
Right.
and I don't think it was well received. But I really liked it. I was tense. I knew what was happening, and I was still tense
Okay.
the whole entire time.
That's cool.
Acting isn't all that great, but it was good. I really liked
It's a
it.
horror movie,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
it's
No,
like,
I'm not going
what
in
do you
there for
expect?
acting. Yeah, I'm not looking at
Unless
Robbie.
it's Jordan Peele writing those movies these days, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Or
going.
who's
to,
the other one? It's Ali Aster, the one that did Midsommar or whatever.
Oh, I haven't done that. But did you ever
Yeah.
watch? I love Florence Pugh. She did Black Widow. She's in it, and she pops up in
okay.
Transition. My favorite superhero got a TV series,
Oh yeah.
Hawkeye,
Oh.
and it got me deep thinking because a lot of people like to trash Hawkeye. Everybody's like, Black Widow should have.
It's not Jeremy Renner, is it?
It is Jeremy Renner, but it's
Oh,
with
is
the
it?
new Hawkeye, Kate Bishop's a Haley Steinfeld. She's in like Transformers. She did you ever watch the newer True Grit? She's a little girl in True Grit.
Okay.
With Jeff
Well, yeah,
Bridges.
no.
Jeff Bridges.
Maybe I did. It was
Yeah.
definitely like 10 years ago.
Yeah. So anyway, They both did fantastic. And I was thinking, like, man, like, why do I love Hawkeye? And I figured it out. It's in a lot of his stuff, he's not the main character. And in this show that's named Hawkeye, he's really not the main character. It's Kate Bishop, the girl he's teaching. She's kind of the main character. And Hawkeye is just kind of doing some stuff. Like, they're working together, but he's more of a supporting actor. And I kind of made me realize, like, I feel like most of my life, even in my own story, I'm not the main character. And I'm okay with that. Like, I kind of think, does that make me feel? How does it make me feel? I was like, I never want to be the main character, to be honest. But I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird way to describe that. But at the same time, like, I have a connection with that. And
I can see what you're saying, man.
And he was kind of the first superhero going into a comic book store and just buying a ton of West Coast Avengers because I didn't know what I was doing. And so he got his own show. It was wonderful. It's cute. It's not like God, multiverse, space, alien, huge impact Marvel. It's just like this guy trying to make up for what he lost and what he did during some stuff. He did some bad things, trying to kind of help this younger version of himself get through life, and being a mentor without wanting to be a mentor. Like if Yoda didn't want to actually help Mario, and Luke Skywalker just Luke Skywalker just wanted to stick with him the whole entire time. Luigi never was.
Darth Vader's Luigi. Like, Mario, I'm your father.
Why?
I thought you were my brother.
Why? I thought you were my brother.
I'm not even that drunk, and I'm goofy.
Oh yeah. So anyway, that's kind of
that's 2021.
Woo! Season 2 is done.
Woo!
Wrap. It's a wrap. Hope you guys loved it. We were a little all over the place, and I can't promise you that we're not going to be like that in the future. But
you can always expect rambunctiousness from the beans in some form or shape.
If you guys have things you want from us, like reviews and stuff, you're like, hey, I really want to buy a Funko Pop for the first time. Can you guys bring it on? And like,
if there's things you want the beans to do, always just leave a comment, and maybe we'll do it sometimes.
Talk to us.
You talk to your beans.
You puts the lotion on its beans. Or else
you don't want dry beans. Just shrivel up and you'll sound like this.
If you leave the beans out, it turns into a raisin. A raisin bean.
I had a bean once. And look at me.
Beans. I hated it. I remember the first time I had beans. I hated it. She had so much bean work, I had to pay toll. I had to pay beans.
I kissed my beans and I paid toll. Oh, you guys don't get any of that.
Yeah, no. But anyway, we hope you guys love it. We really love giving it to you guys.
Yeah, like this has just been fun this year.
Yeah.
Like it's just been fun.
Yeah. Look forward to more fun.
Yeah.
Fun with your beans.
That's what we will guarantee as a promise, is that the beans will be having fun and you'll see us having fun next year.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So here's another fun bean time. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, our wonderful little beanettes.
Yes. We hope you all have the happiest of holidays, and we just thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you in 2022. My God, here we are. Let's do great things.
Let's 22 our do.
Do beans.
Do the 22.
22 beans.
Do the voodoo that you do so well.
All
Obscure
right.
deep cut. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hey. 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 I like your dad. Hey. 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 I left little gifts.
We're like 42 minutes.
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten to music yet.
Yeah, or movies.
Or movies.
Yeah. So
We'll get there.
Uh-huh.
A lot, at least 10 minutes for colors too.
What's that?
I said a lot, at least 10 minutes.
For
Oh,
colors
yeah.
too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
both on our list, I think. Oh, say, can you pee by the pee-pee's early light?
Two Beans canceled by America.
Two beans, talk about pee-pees and no longer talk about anything else.
Peter Peepees.
My name's Pee-pee Pee-pee.
Rich Peepee.
My name's Pepe the Pee-pee. He did get canceled.
Oh, yeah. He deserved it.